They're saying that some places could get 1 inch to 2 inches of ice. If you're anywhere near this storm, don't take this warning lightly. You need to be prepared for the power to be out for a substantially long time. What do I mean by a long time? I'm talking anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, maybe longer. Ice storms aren't like any other winter storm. The weight of that ice on the power lines, on the trees, is just too much to handle. Those trees are going to come down, the power lines are going to come down, and it's going to happen in a lot of different places, which means there's going to be a lot of repairs to be made. It's going to take a lot of time to get it repaired. What does that mean to you? That means you need to be prepared for primitive style camping in your house in sub-freezing temperatures for up to 3 or 4 weeks. Here's the same tips and advice that I gave my kids yesterday when I called them on the phone, concerned about this approaching storm. Number 1, you need to have a way to stay warm when the power goes out and the temperatures are sub-freezing outside. That can be really difficult to do in the wintertime, especially for extended periods of time. I know it's not camping season, but this is a really good time to get your camping items out and have it on standby in your house. You need extra sleeping bags, blankets, even your tent, if it's a small enough one that you could set up inside of your house. That allows you to create a small area and keep that small area warm if you guys have to stay inside and huddle inside. If you don't have those things available, you need to find a smaller room in your house, like a bedroom, that you can go ahead and tape off the windows and secure those drafts. Keep that extra cold air outside of that room and have some candles or other heating devices that can help warm up a room. Obviously, you don't want to have it burning all the time, but it can help keep a room above freezing temperatures while you're bundled up inside your jackets and your blankets and your sleeping bags. We're talking about survival now. We're not talking about an inconvenience. If you have a propane heater or something along those lines that's safe for use indoors, make sure you've got extra propane or that those tanks are filled up. If you've got wood heat, make sure you've got wood on hand where you can get it right by your house and you don't have to go walking out in the ice. A slip or a trip in this storm could mean disaster, and help won't be able to get to you for a very long time. The second thing you need to be doing is storing up water. Whatever you've got to do, however you've got to do it, even if it's in the bathtub. Most places have a bathtub, and that's where you need to fill that sucker up and let it sit. If you have to, cover it over with saran wrap or a blanket or something to keep stuff out of it, but that's the least of your worries. If the power goes out for an extended period of time, if you're on city water, you're not going to have any water coming out of that tap. You need to have some gallons of water, some bottled water, and again, use that bathtub as an alternative water source. Number 3, you need to have plenty of food on hand that's non-perishable that you don't have to cook in order to eat it. That could be as simple as having canned soups that you can just pop the top and open it, or if you've got a manual can opener, you can open those other cans. I know they're not gourmet and it's a little bit nicer when they're warm, but you can definitely eat those when they're cold. I've done it before and I'll definitely do it again. But making sure that you've got enough food to last you several weeks that you don't have to cook, because you're not going to be able to open the window to get ventilation if you're using a propane stove for camping or something, and those aren't designed for use indoors. Hopefully you do have a way for alternative cooking if the power goes out, but in the case that you don't, you need to have food that you don't have to prepare and you can eat it when you need it. And that brings me to another point about food. Within 24 to 48 hours, the food in your refrigerator will start to go bad. You need to eat the food that's perishable, that's already been prepared or cooked within the first 24 hours. After it starts to warm up in the refrigerator, what you can do is take that food out of your fridge and freezer and you can put it outside. Obviously the temperatures are well below freezing, so it's going to keep that food good and you can continue to use it. But you don't want to have a whole freezer full of meat that goes bad in 2 weeks because you didn't have a way to keep it cold. Throw it outside. If you haven't done this 4th thing already, go out and fill up the fuel tanks in your vehicles right to the top. If the power goes out for an extended period of time, you're not going to have a way to get more fuel in your vehicle. And in the event that you've got to leave the area to go to a safer place where maybe the power is still on, you won't have a way to get there and get out of the danger zone if you don't have enough fuel in your vehicle. Top off all the tanks in your vehicles. And the 5th thing I want to talk about is make sure that you've got cash on hand. Go take cash out, get change, have small bills and small denominations. That way, if you've got to go buy some supplies 2 weeks into this, when things still aren't coming back, you've got the cash to do it, because those ATM machines, those transaction machines, even the gas station, they're not going to work. The only thing they'll be taking is cash. And if you only have a 20, that gallon of water might cost you $20 if nobody's got change. So make sure you've got cash in small denominations. I know a lot of these things may go without saying, but if you've never been through an ice storm, you might not understand the full weight, no pun intended, of what ice really does. It is really, really heavy. And if you can imagine that span between 2 telephone poles, and if you had 1 inch of ice on that power line spanning 100 feet, that's a lot of weight. It's going to bring down the power lines. It's going to bring down the trees and the tree limbs. I've been through several ice storms and they are no joke. You might think, well, I'll just get out of here if the power goes out. But you're not going anywhere. The roads are going to be blocked. The roads are going to be hazardous and dangerous to drive on. You probably don't have studded tires on your vehicle, which is kind of the only saving grace in ice, other than snow and ice tires, which have the siping. And most people in the Southwest, they don't have that on their vehicles because this just doesn't happen. If you're in Texas, I'm sure this is probably fresh on your mind, but for a lot of other people, they haven't been through an ice storm like this. I can recall an ice storm over a decade ago in the Spokane area in the Northwest. That historic ice storm came through and they were without power for over 3 weeks. We had some friends that lived through that and it was a nightmare. You know, you think first few days it's not really a big deal, but as it starts to drag on and you've got no power, there's a lot of additional problems beyond just trying to stay warm and have food and water. I know there's some other things you should be doing. Hopefully you've thought about it because I've talked a lot about in the event that a power goes out. If you've never prepared for a long-term power outage, I've got several videos. I'll go ahead and post one of those down here below for you to take a look at to be prepared for a long-term power outage. And again, a long-term power outage is just something that's sustained for more than a day or a couple of days. Those aren't necessarily a big deal depending on the season, but when it's wintertime, they can be critical and your life depends on the things that you're doing right now in the next 24 to 48 hours before that storm hits. There's no time to waste. So watch that other video, do the things you need to do, get prepared right now, and don't wait. And here's a bonus tip for you. If you don't have any ice traction devices for your shoes or ice cleats or anything that you can put on for being safe going outside, you can easily make a pair of makeshift ice cleats by taking a small board the size of your foot, take some wood screws that are just longer than the board is thick, screw them through that board all the way down, and then just tie that board to your feet. Biggest thing you don't want to have happen is slipping and falling on that ice. It will be really difficult for help to get to you in the event that you've fallen, and if you've fallen and broken something, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. Not only that, if you break your hip, you might not even be able to make it back inside your house and you could freeze to death because nobody's coming to help. Make sure you don't fall. Whatever you've got to do, keep yourself safe and keep your feet on the ground using those traction devices. Until next time, keep prepping, keep practicing, and stay safe. American Thrivalist out.